The day is December 26, 1941. The place, the House floor of the United States Capitol. Just days after a Japanese surprise attack on Pearl Harbor hurled the United States into its Second World War, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill has traveled across the Atlantic to shore up his nation's closest ally, and now its brother in arms.
Now that our two considerable nations, each in perfect unity, have joined all their life energies in a common resolve, a new scene opens, upon which a steady light will glow and brighten.
The Allied forces did, of course, prevail, and out of the rubble of World War II, that new scene that Churchill foretold did indeed open. Victorious Western nations came together to forge institutions like NATO, the European Union, to maintain peace through military might and collective prosperity. And in the spring of 1945, representatives from 50 countries gathered in San Francisco to draft a charter that would create the United Nations, though they soon made the wise choice to move the headquarters out east.
On UNO's 4th birthday, the first building of its permanent headquarters in New York is inspected by representatives of member nations. Dedicated by the President to the cause of lasting peace, the building, whose cornerstone is laid by Secretary-General Trygve Lie, becomes a symbol of UNO's aims for the future.
76 years later, amid a global pandemic and growing climate and refugee crises, today's UN Secretary-General António Guterres has stark words for member nations. In our biggest shared test since the Second World War, Guterres says, humanity faces a stark and urgent choice: a breakdown or a breakthrough. But what if humanity has already made that choice? What if we're watching nearly a century of global institutions break down in real time? And I mean, if something as immediate and catastrophic as a deadly pandemic can't spark a renewal of global cooperation, what can? Look at the vaccination effort. 80% of shots that have gone into arms globally have been administered in high and upper middle income countries. 0.4%, that's it, of doses have been administered in low income countries. Meanwhile, the virus has already killed a confirmed 4.5 million people worldwide. The Economist magazine estimates it at over 15 million. Or take climate change. In an August UN climate report that Guterres himself called a code red for humanity, scientists warned that the extreme droughts, severe heat waves, catastrophic downpours, and flooding we're seeing now will continue to worsen for at least the next 30 years, no matter what the world does. And while rapid and widespread emissions cuts beginning now could limit the warming beyond 2050, there's little indication that even the wealthiest nations are willing to spend the money or political capital necessary to avert disaster. So if the United Nations doesn't have the authority to force member states to take such drastic measures, what's it actually good for? Well, quite a lot. Where the United Nations really proves its value is in the work of its agencies. Peacekeeping operations in Africa, Asia, the Balkans, and elsewhere prevent conflict where outsiders are reluctant to get involved. The United Nations Refugee Agency helps millions of displaced people, though millions more remain outside its reach. And the World Bank provides grants, credits, low-interest loans to help poorer countries build the roads and bridges, the ports and schools and hospitals that they desperately need. But the challenges facing the world this year, as member nations convene in New York City for the United Nations Annual General Assembly, seem increasingly insurmountable. The Secretary General tells me member states are sleepwalking into the abyss. What's the state of our world today, and what's the way forward?